Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel. In this short video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous nights of the local time. The most important one is coming from Donetsk, the capital of DPR. During the previous night, the Ukrainians made massive missile attack with HIMARS against the city by the name of Makeyevka. This is something like a Donetsk agglomeration that includes a lot of towns, and there was explosion. It was very heavy. On this video we see the result of that explosion. As you can see, that was something very big and very huge, and first time I thought that there was some kind of situation provocation on Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, but that was just the HIMARS missile that got into the Russian probably ammo depot. The Russians reported that as a result of that attack there were casualties among civilians, and for now there is around 25 people wounded. The Russians haven't provided us any information about the loss among their manpower and soldiers who probably during the night were trying to protect or defend the ammo depot. And now let's start from the south. We're going to move to Kherson area. Today, this night, the local time, we got a lot of interesting videos from this territory. The first one showing how the Russians were bombing and shelling the Ukrainian part of the river, the Ukrainian bank of the river, with the FAB 250 or 500 bombs, and also we got another very interesting video on this area, how the Ukrainians, how the entire situation was developing on this territory, how the Ukrainians were able to pass by, to walk on this territory, and then the Russians launched a drone, and using the drone the Russians were attacking Ukrainian positions. But the most important interesting part is in the end. As you can see on this video, the Ukrainians started like evacuation process using the boats. I see these two boats were trying to evacuate and to run away, but the Russian drone managed to get the Ukrainians boat and to destroy it on the fly. So a very epic video. For now, the clashes and fightings on this area continues. Probably both sides understand that currently this Dachi area by the name of Dachi can be just in the gray zone, and neither the Russians nor the Ukrainians are able to control this territory. So probably both sides took a decision not to waste the manpower and to reduce the intensifying on this territory. Now we are moving further to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, and today the Ukrainians at night published a lot of videos, a lot of reports, a lot of different interesting piece of information about this area. Furthermore, the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, gave his own published his own video where he was saying that the Russians have already established the bomb on the nuclear power plant, and that the Russians are completely ready to detonate and to make provocation on the Zaporizhzhia power plant. So that was the part of his talk, and basically we understand that currently everything is ready to create a real provocation on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Some Russian sources were saying that this night, the previous night, let's say from the 1st to the 5th of July, the Ukrainians would do this, but for now we still that situation is stable. Now we are moving to Bradley Square, to Orekhov bridgehead, and today we got more updates from this territory. Currently the Ukrainians, after a few days of fierce fighting to the north of Rabotine, managed to establish 100% control over these trenches. Now they control them, and there are no doubt about this. The Ukrainians managed to dig in deeper on these positions, and the Ukrainians currently started preparation to develop the bridgehead on the north of Rabotine. And currently the Ukrainians, some forces of Ukrainian army took a decision to change their focus a little bit to the west, and currently the Ukrainians are doing demining process. These fields are also mined, and the Ukrainians need time to demine them, but basically we see that Ukrainians will try to, during the next days, they will try to establish control at least over this part of the fields, and to get as close as possible to the second settlement, to the second fortification stronghold in this area, town by the name of Kopany. When talking about Rabotine itself, as we discussed a few days ago, I told you that these days we are going to see the beginning of the battle for this settlement, the real clashes inside the town, and today we got the first, let's say, confirmations about that. As you can see on this video, this is Rabotine itself. This is the northern part of that settlement. There is like a Russian howitzer MT-12 anti-tank howitzer, and the Ukrainians discovered this area. You can see there are a lot of craters of attacks, and during artillery, very accurate attack, the Ukrainians destroyed that Russian howitzer that was hidden in this small forest line. And the Ukrainians were continuing bombing this territory. Another video got a little bit from the west of this bridgehead. The Russians infantry and troopers were heading to the front line probably, or they were heading back. These two videos are geolocated. The Ukrainians discovered the Russian soldiers and started bombing and shelling them during some kind of rotation process or evacuation process, or probably just some kind of reco process or something like this. Anyway, we see that the Ukrainians currently got as close as possible to the settlement, and currently the Ukrainians started artillery preparation and started attacking the Russian positions and forces inside the settlement. For now, they're doing this just on the northern part. We haven't received any updates or video confirmation about any actions on the south. But anyway, we see that Ukrainians probably these days will try to get inside the settlement, and they will try to get the northern like residential area, and they will try to capture this. And of course, one more time, the Ukrainians now are trying to demine the western flank, and then they will start attacking in the direction of Kopanye. Very long operation, very difficult operation. The Ukrainians, no matter loss, are trying to move further, and very slowly, but they're moving. Also, the Russians published the video of destroyed ammo depot, that they report that there was destroyed ammo depot inside of Orekhov. There was a video, but for some reason this video is not opening. And now we're moving to Artyomovsk. We got also a lot of updates from Artyomovsk from this night. The Ukrainians published another video, a very fresh video dated to the beginning of July, how they destroyed another howitzer, Russian howitzer D-20 in the vicinity of Krasnaya Gora. This video is geolocated. Yesterday, with the previous video, we discussed a lot of explosions all over the front line, all over the Artyomovsk bridgehead of dozens of probably Russian artillery systems, and today the Ukrainians continue publishing more and more videos about that. Also, the Ukrainians published the video how they attacked in front of Yagidne the Russian positions in this building using drone, FVP drone. As you can see, they attacked some kind of light vehicle. Anyway, this video confirms that this territory, this industrial area in front of Ukrainian positions in the vicinity of water reservoirs, is under Russian control. Also, the Russians published another video. This video was published by the Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation. As you can see, this video geolocated. You can see these two water reservoirs. This is the first one, this is the second one, and you see this like half circled like forest line. This is this forest line. So as you can see, the video is geolocated, showing the Russians were trying to show the Ukrainians attempt to attack in direction of Berkhovka and Yagidne. The Russians published a lot of videos of killed, wounded soldiers, a lot of destroyed armored vehicles, a lot of Ukrainian soldiers who were trying to evacuate their wounded soldiers. So basically, if we will underline the entire situation, we can say that it was a massacre operation, suicide operation from the Ukrainian side. The Ukrainians were completely defeated during the Battle of Berkhovka and Yagidne. Of course, they managed to develop their bridgehead a little bit, but I can't tell you whether the losses of Ukrainian losses were stats, developments or achievements or not. As I understand, it doesn't worse. Now we're moving to Klishchiivka. The Ukrainians published another video of bombing and shelling the Russians in their trenches. The video was titled as the bombing of trenches and fortifications somewhere in the vicinity of Artyomovsk. Basically, according to this video, probably this situation took place somewhere in Klishchiivka. This video is not 100% accurate geolocated, but anyway, this video shows how the Ukrainians continue pushing in this area. Basically, we can see that for now the Ukrainians have at least 2 points of pressure where they managed to develop a significant, at least normal success, or they're showing some, yes, the correct word is that they're showing some success. I'm talking about Artyomovsk. We see that the Ukrainians have made a lot of, achieved a lot by suppressing Russian artillery system, and this is the main step before the normal offensive operation. And the Ukrainians managed to develop the bridgehead in the vicinity of Rabotine. We are not talking about the losses, because maybe losses that Ukrainians had didn't worse those achievements, but for now we're talking just about the ground. And we see that the Ukrainians took a small operational pause in Petykhatki and on the Vremivka tactical bridgehead. I believe that after a small wave of attack of this episode of attack in direction of Rabotine and Artyomovsk, the Ukrainians will take a small operational pause, and then they will restart their attacks in Vremivka and Petykhatki. And now we are moving to Belogorovka. Today the Russians published one more time the video how they were bombing and shelling the Ukrainian positions inside this industrial area in Belogorovka. And basically for now we see that the Russians still haven't established 100% control over this part of this industrial area, and the source, and according to that video, the Russians controls just a part of this territory, just this one. So we will basically update the map, and the rest of this industrial zone is still under Ukrainian control. So there are still heavy clashes, and the Russians are trying to bomb these Ukrainians, trying to force them to step back from this industrial area. Now we are moving to Kharkiv district. We got also a lot of updates. The Russians published now the video how they destroyed the radar that was established on the border with Russian Federation. This is a very long-range radar that Ukrainians were using to discover, to spot, and to see the Russian air forces, missiles that can be launched from the territory of Russian Federation. And also the Russians reported that there was a very heavy explosion in the settlement by the name of Pervomaysk in Kharkiv area. And according to the legend, according to the Russian sources, a few days ago, one of the officer of the special unit Kraken was killed, and basically the officers and the very high persons of that special unit took a decision to have a meeting in the settlement. It was like some for this event, to not to celebrate, it's no wrong word, to send to the final pass that soldier. And the Russians managed to discover the positions where the special unit Kraken have take place, and after that they made the missile attack, and there were a lot of casualties among that special unit. A lot of course survived and they left that territory, but that was a very powerful attack against that special unit Kraken. And probably that's it for this short video. Military Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching, subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.